welcome to Homestead Corner. I'm Jenny, and today I have got a $30 budget prepper pantry stock up from the Dollar Tree. I feel like it's been so long since I've been to the Dollar Tree. It's only been a couple of weeks, but I usually go quite often. I haven't been going quite as much. We've been so busy with holiday and family and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we finally got in there, and I did a $30 budget stock up and got a few things for the pantry, some emergency items, a little bit of a mishmash of everything. So let's see what we found. So the first couple things that I grabbed, I really love this low sodium broth that Swanson puts out. It's really delicious. So I grabbed a couple more cans of that. I like to make sure we have plenty of broth for cooking. It really adds flavor and nutrients. I use it when I'm making stuffing, when I'm making a rice dish or something like that. If I'm doing chicken, then we grab the chicken flavor, or you can use beef as well, depending on what you're making. Grab those right up. The broth really adds a lot of good flavor and nutrients. So the next thing I grabbed was beef broth because, you know, I like to have both in the pantry, so we have plenty of each, definitely, and we want to have those. And the next thing I grabbed was just a 1 pound container of the sea salt because we like to have a bunch of different salts in the house. If there's one that you particularly like the most, carry the most of that in your house. But we keep a big variety. We have mostly pink salt because that's what we use to cook with on an everyday basis. But I do like the sea salts and some other things to make sure we have all of those, because salt is so useful for so many things. You can clean with it, make skincare with it. There's tons and tons of things to do with salt. The next thing I grabbed, and I just love when I find these, I love them so much. It's such a good deal. These are over $3 a can at our other stores, and they are the Muir Glen crushed tomatoes. So I try to grab those whenever I see them. They only had 4 cans today, but if they only have 1 can, I'm getting it because it's such a good deal. And even though they are crushed tomatoes, I can use them like this, or I can use them, I can chop them up a little bit more in the blender. I can blend them right down and make sauce. I can do tons of things. So we did get 4 cans of those as well. Making sure that pantry is as full as possible is so important right now. I also grabbed, we tried these So Natural organic coconut oil I think the last time we went there. So I grabbed 2 more just to make sure we have plenty in the house. I really like this one. It's pretty good. Just organic coconut oil. It is wonderful. If you've got to cook over a fire, an emergency situation, coconut oil has a higher smoke point, so it can handle higher heat cooking, which is great. So we like to keep that. It's also good for tons of stuff. You can make lip balms and bath body or whatever. You can use it in place of butter in some recipes. There's just tons of uses for it. And then we also grabbed 2 more cans of the Prego Classic Alfredo sauce. I really like these. It makes lunches really simple and easy. If you want to just, you know, you can boil up some noodles, a can of chicken, throw in some veggies, and a can of your Alfredo sauce. You can thin it down a little with some milk, or use it as is if you like it a little thicker. They work really well, and it is a simple, quick meal, and I love having stuff like that on the shelf, so when we need a quick meal, we can make one. So making sure that pantry is working for you is so important. The next thing I grabbed were these 2.5 gallon plastic bags. I love these. They are so handy. We keep some in the car for those muddy, wet winter boots if you've got to throw them in the car. We keep them in our emergency bags. We keep them all over the place. I think they are so handy. I throw one in my pocket when we go out for a walk in the evening, in the warmer weather. Obviously, it's a little chilly right now, walking around in 9-degree weather. But we do keep these around the house all the time, and they are wonderful for foraging in the spring, summer, and fall. So I love to throw one in my pocket when we go for that walk, because I've got a bag to throw in whatever I find, because you never know. Sometimes you find something new. Even on a walk you've done a million times. There's all kinds of stuff out there. The next thing I grabbed was this jumbo storage bag. It goes under the bed, also fits wonderfully under the couch. It is a great way to store your supplies. I love these. It's got a little zippered cloth top. It's just a cloth bag. It's not real stable or anything, but you set it on the floor, load it up with your cans, shove it under the couch, and it keeps all that dog hair, dust, all that stuff out of sight, out of mind. People don't think that you have tons of extra food if you've got it and no one can see it. So I think that's really important. You don't want your supplies out where anybody that walks in can see them. You want to keep them sort of concealed so nobody knows that you have it. Keeps you safer. The next thing I grabbed was an extra one of these little push lights. I absolutely love these. They work really well. We keep them in our pantry up underneath the shelves. So our pantry, we try to keep it really dark, and then, but if we need a little bit of light, we can just pop the light on and it floods the whole shelf, which is great. I keep them in my herb cabinet. They are wonderful. A lot of people put them next to their light switches and things like that. If the grid goes down, you can just press this and you have got instant light. So that's a wonderful idea as well. You can put these all over the place. They come with a little sticky thing, the batteries, everything usually. So grab them up. Those are wonderful to have for emergency situations or in your pantry. Like I said, we just stick them up underneath the shelf and it floods everything out so you can see it really well. I love that. You can change the batteries if you forget, leave it on. I've done that before. The next thing I got is a couple of these moisture absorbers. I also love these for the pantry. They are so handy, and you can see the water fill right up for $1.25. This is a must, I think. These are great for the gun cabinet, where you store your ammo, anywhere that you want to keep something really dry. If you have an area that you don't want it to get with your cans, anything like that, you want to make sure they're staying nice and dry so they don't rust, because we don't want rusty cans, because then we're losing our food. All right, the next thing I grabbed was this wound care kit. Once in a while they bring these into the store. I love these. I think they are such a great deal. For $1.25, you get a whole bunch of stuff in here. There are 2 rolls of gauze in here. Let's see, 2 rolls of gauze. There are 16 different gauze pads for all different sorts of wounds, just in case, whatever size you need. There are 4 different sizes, from 2" by 2" up to the 4x4s, I believe. And then you also get a roll of tape in there, so you can tape down your stuff, which is great. And for $1.25, I just think that is such a good deal, because usually you're getting one thing, or 10 pads, gauze pads, or maybe 2 tiny rolls like this of gauze. So you just want to look around and see what they have, and a lot of times they're way down on the bottom shelf, shoved way in the back. It's a treasure hunt at Dollar Tree, for me anyway. I love to dig around and see what I can find, because a lot of times the good stuff is kind of hidden and no one can see it, or they've gotten all the stuff in the front and then the little bit left in the back. And just dig through, you'll find stuff, I promise. There's always something great there, I think, for the price. And of course, matches. You cannot have too many matches in your pantry. You just want to keep these nice and dry, and they're going to be just fine. They're not going to go bad or stop working or anything like that. Just keeping them nice and dry. We keep them in plastic shoe boxes in the pantry, so we know our moisture absorbers are sucking all that moisture out, and these are not going to get wet. Even if there was some kind of water in there or something, they're in a plastic container, which helps keep them nice and dry. And I love that. The next thing I grabbed was one of these little lighters. They are refillable, and I really love that whenever I can get refillable ones. The long ones that they carry are no longer refillable, so I started buying these shorter ones. because you can just plug your little butane in and fill it right up, which is great. And it's a lot cheaper that way. We keep the lighter when it dies. We can just fill it up, reuse it, and we don't have to worry about not having it. Let's see. And then I found this ball of natural jute cord. I think this was in the craft section. It's a blue and white. They had other colors. I just happened to grab this one. But having jute cord is so wonderful. We like to keep a lot for the garden, tie up our tomatoes, anything like that. If you need to tie up sticks to make a post for your green beans to grow on or anything like that. We love to keep lots of jute in our garden supplies, so we have got them when we need them, because pretty soon we'll be getting ready for gardening. So the last thing that I grabbed were these two 32-ounce refill soaps. These are wonderful. They're soft soaps. I got a lavender and a coconut. These are wonderful. You want to make sure you've got plenty of supplies to keep yourself clean in an emergency situation. You may not be able to get to the store. They may not have anything in the store, or you couldn't afford the stuff in the store. So making sure you've got a good stock. Staying clean is going to keep you healthy, and in an emergency situation, it's definitely going to help. You don't want to be getting sick when you can avoid it by just making sure you have a couple extra bottles of soap, or whatever you need to help your hygiene stay healthy and good. And that's it for my $30 haul. I got quite a few things for the pantry, a few extra emergency supplies, and just making sure that we're keeping that pantry as full as possible. That way it is there when we need it, and we've got the items that we need for emergencies and for quick, simple meals, or just to boost up flavor or whatever it is. We want to make sure we've got all that stuff. When you're down to just eating out of your pantry, you want to make sure there's plenty there for you, because we have had times that we just didn't have the money and we needed to make extra pantry meals just to get us through until the next paycheck. We've all been there, I think. I don't know anybody that hasn't struggled at one point or another, and the pantry has been a huge saver for me and my family. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you next time. Bye!